In the game, Liren played very dangerous knight g5 from the first look. Knight g5, how can this move be right? Of course there is a serious threat of playing knight e6 next, but on the other hand, bishop take g5, f take g5, and now the white king is really open. I mean, from a human point of view, you must be able to exploit the white king's position. On the other hand, it seems like the Liren is really afraid of nothing. So in the game, Grischuk continued by playing rook f3. I'm not sure if rook f3 is the only chance of black in the current position. Rook f3 seems like rook f3 is just leading to almost a lost endgame. It seems like Grischuk found nothing better than to give check on f3. So it will be of course very hard for us to give a suggestion to Grischuk what he should have done. But rook f3, not sure. Now again we have this problem with the moves. So rook f3, king g2, queen e2, the things are very forced. Take, queen f6, check, take, and now we have, just a second please, so queen g6, king h8, take, queen take g5 is not working, sorry, because white can just take the knight, and after check, king e2, check, there is queen f2, with most probably winning queen endgame. So Grischuk found nothing else than queen e2 and rook take f5. I don't know what black should have done better, but once again this is what we see now. This is almost leading to a lost position by force. So as we see, black has basically only one idea. It is to give a check knight f2. Even this check is not super dangerous because we have the option of going king h4 and the white king is pretty safe. On the other hand, maybe white can try first to put his queen as best as he can. The question is, of course, where is the best place for the queen? It might be queen f6. So, for example, king g8, and maybe we can try something with d6. I'm not sure, but if d6 is actually working, but maybe d6 is working. So we have this knight f2 check, king h4. There's only one check left, it is to give check on b4, and now maybe we can just play queen f4. It looks nice for white. Hard to imagine a perpetual check here. So the position of white should be winning, I guess. What else can we do with black after d6? Okay, check is probably a must. What else? And instead of queen b4, can we improve somehow on that? I don't think so. At least I don't see how to improve on that. So we have this queen f6 check with the idea of playing d6 next. Let's see what the Chinese player will do. Yes, it looks strong. Of course, with white you have a lot of options instead of queen f6. There are many options. First of all, the direct d6 needs to be calculated. Not sure if d6 is working. Of course, black might take queen take g5, maybe things are not that clear, so d6 is maybe not the way to go. What else do we have except queen f6? I'm not sure. Queen f6 is looking very convenient. Queen f6 check. Now king g8 and this d6 move. It is hard to imagine that black is able to save such a position. So, what can be the trick for black? Maybe something like queen e2. So we have this idea of knight f2 check, and at the same time we have the idea of queen h5 check. So we want to give perpetual with queen h5. So what can we do with white now? In the game happened actually queen e7, so we have to refresh. Queen e7. King g8, very logical. Maybe something like king g4 now. Of course, a bit unpleasant to give away the h pawn. Well, d6 might be an option, so let's take a look. We give a check, we give a check, so king to h5. It's quite interesting if black can save that. To be not easy. For example, in case we give a check on d1, white king most probably just go to h6. So there is only one check left, and then this is knight g4, and now we have king to g6. Once again, not many checks. We have to give a check somewhere here, and king to h5. And probably black is out of checks. Yes, it seems like white is winning. So we have the current position. Of course, to play a move as d6 now, you must have excellent nerves, because you give some opportunities to your opponent as well. You run with the king. d6 might be the right option, but it requires very exact calculation. We might be missing something, and black would be okay again. So let's try once more. d6. Seems like knight f2 check is only. So knight f2, king to h4. Hard to find a better move than queen d4, king h5. Now is the question if black can do something. In case of queen h8, of course, we have king g6. So yes, it seems to be very promising for white. So maybe d6 is here, the winning continuation, and indeed d6 been played. So d6 happened in the game. Grischuk has just 2 minutes left. He needs to find something very fast, or is it just going to be too late? Knight f2 check. I guess king h4, yes. And now we are going to see if Grischuk managed to find something, or the position is just lost. So basically we need to give a check to a white king. Hard to imagine a better check than on d4. Because for example, if we play something like queen d1 now, I think white can just give a check. We always have the d7 move somewhere, even maybe straight right now. If there is a check, we can go g4. All is pretty safe. So in case of queen d4, as we checked before, I think king h5, and I do not see a way for black to give a perpetual check. So let's go back to the position where Grischuk is still thinking. He has less than 1 minute left to make his decision. Really hard to guess what he will do. So 20 seconds. Can he find something? Queen d1. This is not what happened. Let me refresh again, because I need to refresh all the time. So queen d4 happened, king h5, queen d1 check. Now what we thought is king h6, but maybe there is even g4. Maybe g4 is even better. Queen take g4 and king g6. Yes, I guess g4 is looking very strong. So what to do after g4? In case of knight g4, white has a lot of winning moves. I think the most simple one is just to give a check and takes the knight. Queen take d6. This position just must be winning. What can be a precise move here? Maybe queen to e2. Looks very safe. There is just one check on g6 and we play king to g4. No more checks left. So the position of black, of course, is lost. As well, king to h6 is looking nice. Knight g4 check, king g6. And it is quite unclear how to escape in this position with black. We have a check, for example, on c2, then king h5, queen take h2. We have king take g4. and as well there are no chances of playing for a stalemate. So it seems like the position is just lost. But still, Liren needs to choose between g4 and king h6. Sometimes it is a difficult choice because you think both ways are winning, but you just need to take one of these two. So let's see what white will decide. G4 happened in the game, so we as well expected that. The g4 happened and knight take g4. So Liren is going for most probably for this winning queen endgame. I guess we're gonna see now queen e6. Is there a better way than queen e6? Hard to tell, and I guess it is not really needed. 100% sure that he is going to win this game. And we see the move queen e8, but there is not a big difference. After king g7, white is just going to give a check on d7 and get the knight. I guess we can expect very soon a resignation by Grischuk. There is not so much to do. So all in all, very exciting round today. We have two winners, and it could have been more. We have three winners even, yeah. And Topalov as well missed his chance by a little. So great round. It is hard to tell what Grischuk is thinking right now about. There is no other option than that, and queen d7, king goes somewhere, we're just taking, and of course the position is completely winning, so there is even not much to think about. Queen take d6, we can give a check, and with the next check we're exchanging the queens. So for example, king g7, we're changing the queens. And of course the position of white is completely winning this pawn endgame. So we are watching the last moves of this game. King g8 is probably the only way not to get immediately mated or a queen's exchange, but of course the position of black is just hopeless. Grischuk goes king to h8. Let's see which difference it makes. So king h8 been played. Well, I don't see a difference. queen take g4 is still looking completely winning. So queen take g4, queen take d6, and now basically we can choose from a lot of different moves. The position with the boss pawns is completely winning because of the a6 a5 pawn. So I think we can just give a check to bring the queen a little bit more into an active position. So king g7, we can give a check here on c3. So black needs to be very careful to avoid the exchange of queens. So maybe something like king to g8. And probably the most simple way is just to play maybe h4. He can give us a check, so we should be a little bit more careful. Even this check is probably not dangerous, so h4 should be a winning position for white. If, for example, queen d1, king h6, and we do have queen f6. So we can play h4. It's more than enough to win the game. Is something like king h6 winning, so take and king to g6. I guess there is no stalemate, and indeed we have this position in the game. So Liren gave 2 checks. Check, queen e7. It's very important to cover the e4 square. So basically now it does not really matter where the black king is going. We're playing king to h6. Because it's quite funny. King to h8, king to h6, queen e6 check, and we have a counter check of queen f6. So we are very close to finish today's very long day, but a day full of fighting, really great chess. I guess the biggest upset of the day was Giri losing to Karakin in a very nice position. I think Giri was very close to make a full point, and then suddenly in time trouble started to make mistakes. So we have the king h8, king g8 played, sorry. We have king g8, and now king h6. Why not king h6? Let's see if we see this move happening. King h6, queen take h4. It's not helping. So king h6. Yes, it happened as well in the game. So queen h4 is not helping much. And in case of queen c6, white is going to play queen to f6. Queen c6 check. So Liren is choosing the best way between queen f6 and As well, g6 is looking not so bad. So we give a check, queen to g5. What to do now? How to avoid a mate? So it looks like the game is over. Now it seems like it is really over. Queen d1 maybe the only way to avoid the mate, and I guess queen f4. We want to play queen f7 next. So this position happened indeed in the game queen d1 been played. So white to move. Queen f4, yes. And probably Grischuk is going